The following program does not offer personal medical advice. Please consult your doctor before using any treatment or product we cover. Welcome to Go to Health Radio with your host, Jonathan Marks. We provide a welcoming environment where experts educate you on important health topics, answer your questions, and provide information from which you can benefit in consultation with your doctor. And now, here is Jonathan Marks.
This is all about staying healthy for spring, and we're talking right now with David Smith. He's going to be talking about hiking fitness, health, and safety. David has devoted the better part of one day each week over the past 20 years to experiencing a mountain trail running adventure. He began in the Pacific Northwest with the Columbia Gorge and Cascade Mountains. He then moved to Southern California and experienced the Angeles Crest Mountains, then the Northeast in the Hudson River Valley and Minnewaska, and finally in 2016 to Las Vegas, where he's experiencing and documenting Red Rock Park, the Spring Mountains, Death Valley, and beyond. By day, David is a business networking leader in the city of Las Vegas and owner of two thriving network organizations, networklasvegas.com and the Las Vegas Health and Fitness Chamber of Commerce. He also owns healthpromotionmarketing.com. So David, give us tips for getting out in the wilderness. We're all starting to get out there and wanting to get out and hike and be in nature. And you've been up in the big trees, the high destinations. Tell us how to be safe.
Well, one of the high destinations is right behind me. This is standing on La Madre Mountain, looking down onto Red Rock Park. And if you're in Red Rock Park, you're seeing cliffs at the back of the park. Well, if you were standing on those cliffs, that's where you would be, right here. Okay, well, thank you so much, Jonathan, just for having this show, for bringing your guests, different experts in various areas, and the sum total of that wisdom. I want to start out with the why of, why get out in the wilderness. And first of all, I think that it does something, we're all aware that you feel different, your mind, body, and your spirit. Something's happening. And over time, I've tried to analyze, what is going on? What is causing this feeling? I almost have a buzz when I'm in the wilderness and I'm lifted to a new level. And what I've come down to is that you are experiencing sights and sounds that are non-linear. There are no straight lines in the wilderness, and sounds also are very unpredictable and unique. And what happens when these are coming into your senses, it elevates your thinking and your emotions and your spirit to a different level. And so that's the best I can give you as far as the why. But so before you run out into the wilderness and head for your nearest trail, I want to share 7 best practices for enjoying hiking in the wilderness. And I'm a trail runner, but I also hike. If I'm going up a steep hill, I'm hiking. I'm not running. Anyway, these 7 practices I think you'll find valuable. First of all, you want to have a base of conditioning before you go out there and you tackle a mountain. So what I suggest is that you run or walk off-road daily to strengthen your ankles, because like I said, no straight lines in the wilderness, and you're not going to be walking on flat surfaces. And this is where people sprain their ankles. They get injuries because you haven't strengthened your ankles. I suggest stretching also, but don't stretch before you work out or before you hike. You got to warm up before you stretch, or you're going to pull muscles. So, get out there, spend 10 to 20 minutes just walking, warming up, and then do some stretches. Now, another conditioning rule that I go by is the 10% advance rule. And then now these are all things that I discovered over time, and you're not going to see these anywhere else. But if by trial and error, boy, I beat myself up a lot. And so the 10% advance rule means that if you add up all the mileage that you cover in a given week, do not increase it the next week by more than 10%. Because if you increase too rapidly, what that's going to do is you'll feel great at first. Wow, I ran 5 miles yesterday. I can run 10 miles the next day or whatever. They'll be fine for a little while, but then you're going to start getting repetitive motion injuries. And all of a sudden, it's going to bring you to a crashing halt. It will not be fun to be in the wilderness. So 10% rule. Another thing is decrease the length of your cadence. When I'm running, I decrease the length of my steps, but I increase my actual cadence. And a good rule of thumb is 180 steps per minute. And that would be if you're running. What this does is, if you take big steps, every time you land, it puts a big pressure and big jolt on your body. All your joints and people that just go out there and start working out, they're going to get lots of problems with those big steps. But if you make small steps, it puts less pressure and less jolting on your whole frame.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and then alternate hard, medium, and light days. One problem, like I said, this is all trial and error. I used to get into, I did so well yesterday, I'm going to do even better tomorrow, better the next day. And you're on like a one-way course to destruction that's going to come within a few weeks, because you're not giving your body an ability to rest. It's just like, we're awake, we sleep. We're awake, we sleep. We alternate work and rest. You got to do that with your whatever exertion you do. Don't go your limit every day. Okay, safety and navigation technique. Here are some of the things that I've learned. Well, for one thing, I only do out and back. I don't do multi-day experiences in the wilderness. That's a whole different thing, lots more gear. So everything that I say has to do with just my out and back. Never dramatically exceed your comfort zone. So whatever your comfort zone is with your terrain, whether it be climbing, whatever the terrain, don't dramatically exceed that from time to time. I always have this little saying that I tell myself, I can always come back for another day. And I do that. Don't exceed your comfort zone as far as familiarity. So what I mean is if you're on a trail that you know exactly where you're going, or you're out in the wilderness, where you're going, how to find where you are, great. But don't go, when you're going beyond. Don't exceed that dramatically. It took me, I think 20 times to reach the top of Mount Hood in Oregon. And every time I tried a different approach and just a little bit further, inched my way up, I finally reached the summit. And that's how it is with mountains.
Good for you. And you're doing this without trail, right? You're just finding your way.
Yeah, a lot of this is finding my way.
Yeah, that's what I love about David. He's amazing this way. He really is a trail breaker. Really gets out there and makes his own trails. But go ahead, David.
We see that, and that's another thing, Jonathan. I'm glad you pointed that out, because in the very beginning I mentioned nature does something different to your mind, puts you in a different framework. Well, when you're out in the wilderness and pushing your limit, reasonably, you're experiencing things you don't know what you're going to experience over the next hill. That puts your mind into a different frame. And there are times that I've been out there and I've not been sure I'm going to make it back. Now that puts you into a different frame too, because then all of a sudden life looks a lot different.
Right.
And little things that you were afraid of or that were bugging you in life, well, nothing even measures up to not, thinking you're not going to make it to the end of the day. And so
Right.
that really helps you reorganize your priorities. But okay, that's an aside. Now I always go out alone. I don't recommend that, but if you go out with another person, go with the least experienced um, conditions conditioning of the people that you're going out with.
Now, why do you say that?
Because just like I said, don't exceed your own ability
Right.
and familiarity. Um, don't push someone else beyond theirs,
I see.
because now you're multiplying um, the potential for trouble.
Got it.
Things to carry light, carry your phone, and an external battery is really important. Um, but prepare not to have reception, because a lot of the places you go, you're going to be behind a mountain or some obstacle. You're not going to have the reception you need.
Right.
So download a map on your phone so that you can just pull it up. Be familiar with surrounding reference points. How I navigate in the wilderness is not by GPS and not even by compass in the Las Vegas area, because we have so many days of sun, but I know where the mountains are. I know I can see Mount Charleston, La Madre Mountain. I can see mountains, Gas Peak mountains all around. And even when I'm in Las Vegas, I don't know if you've ever been lost in Las Vegas, but when I'm lost in Las Vegas, I look for mountains and then I head for those mountains.
Right.
That
You know how to get home.
That's right. So look back often as you're moving forward even along a trail, because believe me, when you turn around, the whole world looks different. And that's
Yeah.
how people get lost. They get
Yeah.
out in a situation, they haven't bothered to turn around. Have a 360-degree perspective versus a linear perspective. When people get on trails, it's like you look forward and you're going in a line. Look around. Nature is not that straight line of the trail.
Right.
Be aware of your surroundings. You'll find that if you were to get lost, the fact that you were aware will subconsciously help you find your way back. I could say something about hydration.
Yeah, please do. We have just another couple minutes.
Okay, I won't get through my 7 then.
Right.
but that's all right. Hydration is so important. I put these in order of importance. Water is main hydration, and how much water depends on the temperature, the distance, the elevation gain, and the conditioning. When it's dry out in the Las Vegas area, think of your clothing dryer and think how it dries out clothes. Now, when you're breathing as you're exerting yourself through the wilderness, that's the hot air is in your lungs and it's drying out every part of your body.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
you need to replace that with lots of water.
Great.
Early warning signs are if your mouth becomes dry, drink. If you have a headache, you're progressing. Dizziness, you're getting toward loss of water, critical loss of water, and heat stroke. For the 23-mile 4-peak Charleston Wilderness adventure that I do, that I take 6 liters of water.
Wow.
And 1 liter of Gatorade.
Okay.
Now, if I were just doing Turtlehead Peak in Red Rock, which is maybe 6 miles out and back, 1 liter of water.
Great. David, I hate to cut you short, but we're out of time.
Okay.
Yeah, this has been so great. It's short but sweet, but thank you, David Smith, for telling us about hiking safety and how to do it. That brings us to the end of another show. Thank you to Drs. Trina Wiggins, Sheila Sterling, and David Smith. And David, your website is LasVegasAreaTrails.com.
Yes.
Right. It's a beautiful website. I highly recommend you go, LasVegasAreaTrails.com. Next week, we're going to be talking about improving brain health through nutrition and an exciting program called 8 Weeks to Wellness. This is Jonathan Marks, your host. Thanks for being with us. See you next Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Pacific, with another episode of Go to Health. Take care, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you for tuning in this week to Go to Health Radio. Be sure to join Jonathan Marks and another health expert next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time and 12 noon Pacific Time on the Voice America Variety Channel. You can also catch the program on your favorite podcast platform. Until our next show, be sure to visit us on the web at gotohealthmedia.com and elevate your life.